Hey, this is Think Thugger. Welcome to part 4 of my Provo Bigfoot rock throwing video. In part 3, we took a look at this, which was pretty stunning. We found in the Provo, right there, looking on the left, we see half of its foot flipping up, which was really interesting, but a lot of people could have argued, well, that's just a fluke or an illusion or whatever. And then found it again in in the king of all Bigfoot videos, in the Patterson video. I found its foot flipping up in a mid tarsal break, and that's proof. You know, that's I believe that's what everybody's been looking for. That is proof. But in this video, I want to take a look. We see it winding up for its toss here. Now that looks like a long arm to me. There's a little motion blur there, granted. But right there, that's not motion blur. That looks like a long arm to me. I want to see just how long that arm is. And is it humanly possible for that to be a man in that suit throwing, a good sized rock? Let's check it out. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've made a little animation, and that is a human to scale. And I filmed, or I set up the animation to be filmed with a 50 millimeter lens, which is your basic standard, pretty much what the eye sees type lens that most cameras use in trying to match the Provo footage. And so let's just see what we've got. There's frame 1, frame 2, and already at frame 2, we see the Provo Bigfoot arm looking a good deal longer. Here's frame 3, and that's our motion blur. And look, I tried to put a little motion blur on the animation to match this, but look at the Provo, incredibly long arm. Frame 4, now that is not motion blur. Look at the bulk. I mean, yeah, it looks a great deal longer, but look at the bulk of this arm. It's bigger than his legs over here. That's almost as big as the human's torso. And frame 5, I believe, 6, 7. There we go. So let me bring this guy over, and you can see I made him quite a bit taller than the Provo Bigfoot. But look at that. Look at the arms compared there. Now let's say I've got mine turned just a little off, or I don't have it perfect. Well, you don't have to be perfect to see that the Provo arm it looks like another foot longer. Now here's where skeptics would say something like, yeah, but on the Provo, it's got a prosthetic arm. Well, we see this thing throwing about a 5-pound rock. Okay? Prosthetics, for one, prosthetic arms are incredibly expensive. And now we're talking about one that with the hands articulated enough so that it could grasp a rock, a heavy rock, and throw it. Yeah, I don't believe that. I mean, anybody who believes that's a prosthetic arm, you're going to have to prove that. The burden of proof is on you now. And look at that rock. There's the flight path. It's hitting that tree right there, that light tree. That rock looks as wide as the tree. Let me zoom in. That's a big rock. Thrown with a prosthetic arm and hand? No. Plus, we don't have just the arm length. We've got the mid-tarsal break showing here. So, all things considered, I mean, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, and has a mid-tarsal break, an incredibly long arm like a duck. Well, you decide what we're seeing here. But I think this is maybe some of the most compelling footage ever. And I hear people all the time. I heard Les Stroud on TV the other day saying, to this day, there is no definitive proof yet that Bigfoot exists. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you there, Les. I believe no human can make half their foot flip up, especially 50 years ago, when the Patterson footage was filmed. And then nobody's got a prosthetic arm with an articulated hand capable of grabbing and throwing a 5-pound rock. That's proof. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you all so very much for your support. You make all of this possible, all of my research. I appreciate you so very much. All right, take care.